$12.6 billion. That is the annual size of an industry most people outside Japan do not even know exists. Let us walk through it. Japanese business analysts call it the emotional economy. Loosely translated, it is the industrial category that sells simulated intimacy, algorithmic affection, and manufactured presence to a country that has run out of the biological version. When you aggregate every vertical inside it, the numbers get large in a hurry. Physical humanoid companion robots, otome and dating simulation games, AI companion chatbot applications, virtual reality romantic experiences, and underneath all of it, the character intellectual property licensing layer that provides the visual identity for everything else. Add the verticals together, and the total addressable market sits conservatively between $5.8 billion and $7.2 billion annually, with credible aggregate estimates from Fuji Keizai, Yano Research Institute, and independent industry trackers pushing the combined figure toward $12.6 billion once you include the character licensing revenue attached to the stack. That is bigger than the Japanese domestic music industry. It is bigger than the domestic film industry, and it is growing. Before we walk through the tiers, one question has to be answered. Why Japan? Why has this ecosystem taken root here, and not in Germany, France, or the United States? The answer is demographic. In 2025, Japan's birth count fell to 671,000. The national fertility rate slipped to 1.14. In Tokyo, the rate plunged below 1.0 for the first time in recorded history, reaching 0.96. Projections indicate that by 2050, single-person households will constitute 44.3% of the entire nation. A 2024 national survey by the Japanese Cabinet Office found that 39.3% of citizens report feeling lonely, 4.3% report chronic, constant loneliness. In May 2025, the Cabinet Office released its first-ever official estimate. In 2024, 21,856 individuals died alone at home and remained undiscovered for more than 8 days. That is what Japanese sociologists call kotokushi, the lonely death. And that is the emotional void a $12 billion industry has grown up to fill. The first tier is hardware, the physical companion robots that sit on kitchen counters and bedroom nightstands. This tier is structurally different from Western or Chinese robotics. American and Chinese hardware focuses on functional labor, folding laundry, loading dishwashers, cleaning floors. Japanese hardware in this category focuses on presence, on emotional resonance, on being wanted rather than useful. The flagship players are Gatebox Incorporated, founded in 2014 by Minoru Takechi. Their Gatebox 3, launched on the Makuwaki platform in April 2026, sold out its 300-unit early bird tier in 1 hour at approximately $1,500 per unit. Groove X, founded in 2015 by Kaname Hayashi, a former developer of SoftBank's Pepper robot. Their product, Lovot, is a portmanteau of love and robot, and it is explicitly designed to be functionally useless. It does not clean, deliver messages, or perform any task. Its sole computational purpose is to elicit human affection through soft exteriors, thermal cameras, and a 360-degree sensor array. As of 2026, over 18,000 Lovot units are actively deployed across Japanese homes, medical facilities, and elder care centers. Sharp Corporation manufactures Robohon, a bipedal smartphone hybrid at approximately $1,800. Yukai Engineering dominates the affordable therapeutics segment with Qoobo, a robotic pillow with a reactive cat-like tail priced at $135. Quick note, I'm doing a $100 Amazon gift card giveaway to celebrate when this channel reaches 1,000 subscribers. No action required to enter. I'll randomly pick a winner once we hit the milestone. If you want to follow the journey, feel free to subscribe. Now, back to the map. Then there is Sony. Sony's AIBO, first launched in 1999, sold 3,000 units in 20 minutes at its original launch and won a Guinness World Record. The current generation, the AIBO ERS 1000, reintroduced in 2018, sold between 40 and 60,000 units globally at $3,000 per unit, plus a required cloud subscription. It uses facial recognition and reinforcement learning to develop a personality based on owner interactions. And in May of 2026, Sony officially halted new AIBO sales in Japan. In a country where owners had literally held funerals for their broken units, the announcement marked the passing of the companion torch to Gatebox, GrooveX, and Yukai Engineering. Now here is where the industry becomes vastly larger than most Western observers realize. The physical robot tier is the most visible part of the emotional economy. It is also the smallest. The software tier dwarfs it. Otome games and dating simulations across mobile and console platforms command revenues historically estimated at over $2 billion annually. The global visual novel market is projected to reach $3.4 billion by 2034, and the Asia-Pacific region captures 42.3% of that revenue, overwhelmingly driven by Japanese publishers. The heavyweight players are Cybird, Voltage Incorporated, Idea Factory operating under the Automate brand, Reget, and CyberAgent. Voltage alone reported trailing 12-month revenues of 2.59 billion yen, roughly $23 million for the fiscal period ending in 2025. And the demographic distribution matters. Traditionally, otome games have been dominated by female users, exceeding 90% of the player base. Anthropological research by Dr. Agnes Giard indicates that these games have shifted from being merely a form of digital romance into a mechanism for community building and psychological buffering. Women use them not just to court virtual characters, but to build friendship networks with other players courting the same characters. The demographic that most heavily uses these apps overlaps almost perfectly with the demographic feeling the most pressure from Japan's declining marriage and birth rates. The third tier is where generative artificial intelligence has landed. AI companion chatbot applications. Global consumer in-app spending on dedicated AI companions was tracked at approximately $120 million in 2025. Projected to scale toward $300 million in 2026, with Japan as a primary monetization hub. The most editorially interesting player in the Japanese domestic market is LaVerse. Launched in 2023 by Tokyo-based startup Samansa, led by CEO Goki Kusunoki. LaVerse is not like Western AI companion apps. It is not designed to be perpetually agreeable. It is engineered to mimic the friction of real romance. AI characters possess varied personalities. They hold digital jobs that delay their response times. They can even unmatch users who behave poorly. In an interview with the Japan Times, Kusunoki explained the design philosophy. Quote, "In our service, we deliberately shut all of that down. Instead, we intentionally recreate the hassle and inconvenience of romance." End quote. And here is the demographic detail that captures the entire industry in a single number. More than 60% of LaVerse's early users are legally married individuals, predominantly in their 40s to 70s. 60%. LaVerse is not a matchmaking tool for lonely singles. It is a frictionless outlet for what Japanese researchers now call digital emotional affairs, the psychological thrill of romance without the legal or social devastation of real-world infidelity. The fourth tier is virtual reality. For over a decade, the Japanese VR companion market was dominated by Illusion Soft, a Yokohama-based developer famous for immersive romantic titles. In August 2023, Illusion Soft dissolved, officially stating there would be no successor company. Within weeks, a new firm called Ill Games emerged and launched the successor title, Honeycomb, capturing the abandoned user base almost immediately. That transition tells you how resilient the demand is. The fifth tier is character intellectual property licensing. The global character licensing market reached $32.4 billion in 2025, and Japan is one of the world's preeminent licensors within it. Krypton Future Media, which controls Hatsune Miku, Kadokawa, which controls ReZero and Sword Art Online, Aniplex, Bandai Namco, Sanrio, Sunrise. The economics are ruthless. Average upfront fees for Tier 1 character properties have surged by 82% since 2020. Royalty rates run between 18 and 22% of wholesale revenues, which is why every companion device sold today is layered with subscription fees, character packs, and voice expansions. The hardware is a foothold. The characters keep generating revenue for years. So how does Japan compare globally? In physical hardware and cultural acceptance, Japan is decisively ahead. Devices like Lovot and Gatebox are normalized inside Japanese domestic culture in a way that Western equivalents simply are not. Realbotix, the American manufacturer of hyper-realistic silicone dolls, prices its products between $10,000 and $150,000 and remains a fringe niche. The Japanese approach, choosing stylized anime aesthetics over silicone realism, produces devices priced in the $1,500 to $3,000 range that reach mass-market normalization. Where Japan follows is in the pure large language model chatbot space. Character AI, backed by US venture capital, commands roughly 20 million monthly active users globally. Replica retains around 2 million monthly active users, generating up to $30 million annually. But the most formidable competition is Chinese. The AI companion Xiaowi's operates with a user base of approximately 660 million globally, and Chinese gaming studios have exported companion titles back into Japan itself. The anime-style dating simulation Love and Deep Space, developed by China's Infold Games, approached $1 billion in global gross revenue by late 2025. Japan is now its third largest market. In one specific slice of this industry, Japan has become the customer of a foreign product it once would have exported. There is a policy story here too. In April 2024, Japan enacted the Act on the Advancement of Measures to Address Loneliness and Isolation, making Japan the second country globally to establish a ministerial framework for loneliness. The initial fiscal year 2025 budget was 210 million yen, roughly 80,000 yen per municipality across the nation's 1,741 municipalities. Only 0.6% of municipalities have successfully established the mandated regional support councils. Because state-sponsored social prescribing remains weak, commercial AI companions are rushing to fill the vacuum. The Consumer Affairs Agency and the Japan Robot Association maintain safety standards for physical hardware, but data privacy regarding emotional AI is an unregulated gray area. Companion apps absorb deeply intimate psychological data, cataloging user fears, desires, and vulnerabilities, which means today, in 2026, the emotional infrastructure of an aging superpower is being built almost entirely by private corporations, largely without external oversight. Let us bring the debate to the surface. Dr. Kathleen Richardson, professor at De Montfort University and founder of the Campaign Against Sex Robots, has argued this industry represents a genuine moral hazard. Her published position, quote, "Individuals will be able to buy the right to only care about themselves. Human empathy will be eroded, and female bodies will be further objectified and commodified." End quote. The counter-argument comes from Dr. David Levy, author of Love and Sex with Robots. Levy argues companion technology provides psychological relief for individuals who cannot achieve conventional relationships. His well-known forecast, quote, "Around 2050, the state of Massachusetts will be the first jurisdiction to legalize marriages with robots." End quote. And then there is the middle position. Dr. Selma Sabanovich, associate professor at Indiana University Bloomington, has observed something specific about how humans actually use companion robots in real settings. Quote, "Instead of the robot taking you away from human society, it's an activity that people do together. They are socializing around the robot, not just with it." End quote. This is the frame that many Japanese roboticists most closely align with. The robot is not a replacement. It is a locus around which humans gather. All three positions are serious. All three are unresolved. And meanwhile, the market grows. So where does this leave us? An industry combining $1,500 holographic companion devices, $2 billion otome game revenue streams, $300 million AI chatbot in-app spending, immersive virtual reality romantic ecosystems, and a $32 billion character licensing economy underneath all of it. Aggregate figure when you add every tier sits between $5 and $12 billion annually depending on how you count. Growing at double-digit rates. Fed by demographic forces no policy has yet reversed. 21,856 people died alone in Japan in 2024. The government allocated the equivalent of about 80,000 yen per municipality to address it. And the private sector, in the same year, sold enough $1,800 smartphone robots, 18,000 plus Lovot units, hundreds of mobile romance apps, and VR immersive experiences to keep an industry the size of a small national economy expanding. When Western commentators talk about Japanese robotics, They usually talk about factory floor automation. That is not the story that matters most. The story that matters most is what happens on kitchen counters in Tokyo apartments at 9 p.m. when the door closes and the light comes on, and someone or something says, "Welcome home." That is a market, and it turns out it is bigger than almost anyone outside Japan realized.